Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Now What Next Steps podcast here at Malibu Pacific Church. Hey, if you haven't listened to this past week's Sunday sermon yet, go back and listen to it. It was awesome. And also, this podcast will probably make a little more sense to you because this is the conversation after the conversation. But I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. So keep listening here at the Now What Next Steps podcast. It's me, Joel, and we have
Amy.
Yeah, switching it up this week. I love it. We got Amy, everybody. All right, Amy. Awesome. I know that's not the whole reason why you preach. It's
Nope.
like, here's a gold star.
But it's nice. I'll take it.
Gold star up in your office. No, but like
No,
it was,
no.
it truly was awesome. Behind the scenes and
Yeah.
just the knowing the mission, the vision, and the strategy
Yeah,
just so well. And why
Uh,
do we do what we do here?
exactly. We do it to inspire people to explore faith and take a step with Jesus. And that is our mission. And it's truly a privilege to get to talk about our mission
Mhm.
with the church. It was a gift. It's like, here's our heart. Here's how we want you to get to know God and how much we love you. And it felt like a gift of love on Sunday. So it was fun. It was fun. It was a fun.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
super fun. Yeah. So when you're talking about inspiring people,
Yes.
you were inspirational in the speaking. And again, this isn't a toot. It was just really great. You're showing the behind the scenes of these photos and how they were made.
Yeah.
Where'd you find that idea?
Well, I have to give away my source. It was actually Garrett. He was showing me a cool video last week. He was like, "Oh, look at these cool sports videos," and I was like, "Those are so cool." And
Garrett is her husband.
Garrett's my husband. He's awesome. And,
There we go.
yeah, and he was like, "Oh, look at these videos that I found," and he had shared them with our whole family. And I was like, "That's what I want to use," because the photos looked amazing, but that wasn't where they started. They started off just as, people in the gym with a volleyball and then with some editing and some cool, friends, a team of people helping along. It made these photos go from the, yellowy gym photo to this
Totally.
epic moment. So
Yeah.
I loved it. And I also love a good volleyball photo. You don't always see volleyball included in this the list of great sports. So that was fun for me.
Well, what do you love volleyball?
Because that was my sport.
What?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit. How long you play?
Okay, I played from 12 to 18.
Nice. What
Club,
position?
high school, all of it. I mean, that was where I spent my weekends when I wasn't in church.
Nice.
I played outside hitter.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And I had a pretty good vertical. I really loved it.
Mhm.
I miss it every once in a while. And I know we have a beach right here and I can play more, but I've actually started playing more in this last year because my son,
Mhm.
Curran, started playing volleyball at school. And so every once in a while we'll run over to the beach courts and just kick around the volleyball, and we don't kick it. We hit it.
You hit
and
it. There we go.
pepper. Yeah.
There we go. You pepper?
But it's fun. Yep.
That's very fun.
Yeah.
Very cool. You
Yeah.
see, you learn something new every day. Okay, so you showed off those photos, and then you're talking about this is a church for everybody in every story.
Yes.
Before you came to this church, because you've been here now about 2 years.
Not even two.
Not
yet.
even two.
Yeah.
Year and a half.
A year and a half.
Year and a
Yep.
half. Been here for a year and a half. When you heard that slogan for the first time,
Yeah.
a church for everybody in every story, how did it hit? How did it hit you?
Oh, I
bringing it back.
I loved it from the beginning. And I think my first thought, just to be super open,
Yeah.
was, are we really?
Oh, that
Yeah.
is a good. I think that's kind of. I'm not going to speak for everybody, but a lot of the reactions I have heard is like, "What are you?"
Yeah.
You
Is
know?
that just something, is that an aspirational value? Is that what you want to be? Or is it what
Mm,
you truly are? Are you welcoming people in the door who
Totally.
are, complicated and who don't fit your mold?
Yeah.
And the fun thing is I really think that we are. And of course, I'm sure that there's growth areas that we could do as a church, because every church has growth areas. But there's no. I had a coffee this morning with someone, and
What'd
she
you get?
was talking. Oh, I got a Nico latte at Cafe Lux. I highly recommend it, everyone.
And now back to the life change story.
Back to the life change story. But yeah, she was saying that she grew up Catholic and she had walked away from God. And as she was starting to explore her faith, she
Uh-huh.
was like, am I going to have to be the TikTok Christian girl. And she said it was super refreshing to walk in and see that not everybody in this place looks the same or has the same dress code or appearance. And so that was fun. So we were talking about that.
Was that a knock on us? Just kidding. I like
exactly. We need a combined dress code.
Exactly.
You guys.
We'll send that out in the email. Just kidding.
Next Sunday is Beige Sunday.
Beige, off-white, rimmed glasses, please. Even if you don't need them. Just kidding.
We love beige too, guys.
too.
We love all the colors.
Yeah, I agree. That's awesome. I love that. We also got another pretty big win too. Somebody who's just visiting. They've come to Los Angeles
Yeah.
3 times and shared how refreshing it was to just be here.
Yeah.
They're looking for a home church and they just absolutely loved everything that's going on. So
Yeah.
just like, wow, God is entrusting this church with non-Christians, new Christians, baby Christians, old Christians, and
Yep.
everything in between.
Yeah.
And it truly is just, healthy things grow.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
And we've had 11 people be baptized in the last month and a half. And we
What?
have 2 more getting baptized this Sunday. So it continues.
It continues.
And it's fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So then you went into the 5 ways of how God grows your faith.
Yes.
All right. Out of the 5,
Yes.
what do you lean in most?
Ooh, good question.
Thank you.
I think, I think 4 of them without the pivotal circumstances, because of course we're not trying to do that in our life. I think when as you're growing in your faith, you
Mhm.
really should be doing all 4.
Mm.
Right? So all 4 of them need to have a place in your life.
Mhm.
So I listen to practical teaching on Sundays here, but I also, I'm also listening to podcasts or, of course, our podcast, but other podcasts.
Smash that
I'm
subscribe
listening.
Just kidding.
I'm listening to experts in the field. I'm always trying to gather more information. I really enjoy information, so I always have to be careful to not just be getting information for information's sake, but then to actually be putting it into practice.
Mm.
I think I would say that so personal ministry is super easy for me because it is my job, but also my heart.
Mhm.
Like it really, even if I wasn't employed, I'd be living this way. So that one comes more easily. Practical teaching comes easily. I like to gather information. I would say the hardest one is probably, and pivotal relationships. I'm super relational, love hanging out with people, extrovert to the extreme. Although I feel like as I get older, I'm a little less extroverted. So I'd say private disciplines requires more discipline. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have rhythms built into my life where I am reading my Bible and praying and every day. And I like to find places where I can try out a different discipline or just shake things up a little bit because I can get routine and I stop actually meeting with Jesus and like praying rote prayers, or it's not that I'm saying the same thing, but my heart is a little bit disconnected. Right. So
yeah, I totally feel you. I same thing with me too. Like if it becomes a checklist,
yes,
like that's not what it's supposed to be about.
exactly.
And
Exactly.
so there have been times or seasons in my life where I'm like, yeah, no, I'm doing that.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got to check it again,
Yes.
and change it up even.
Right.
So yeah, that's awesome. And I think, it was really great. All 5, obviously pivotal circumstances is not something we strive for,
No.
but
no.
they are going to happen.
Yeah.
But that's when the providential relationships come in. I like to
Yes.
say, who are your 2 a.m. friends? That's one of my favorite sayings.
Yeah.
At 2 a.m.,
That's a great question.
crap hits the fan.
Yep.
Who are you going to call at 2 a.m.?
Yep.
To me, those are the providential relationships.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Yeah. And that's why we want you to join a group. And we know that like in the beginning of connecting with people, they're not your 2 a.m. friends. And we're not here to pretend that they are. Like you're gonna connect with people, and in the beginning, they're not gonna be your 2 a.m. friends. But the hope is that over time and through seasons, then they're going to become your 2 a.m. friends.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what we're really trying to do here at Malibu Pacific Church is that circles are better than rows. And I know we
Yeah.
say that again and again and again, and I hope you hear it again and again and again. I want to encourage all of you, if you are able, to go on the beach walk that's coming up here
Yeah.
this next weekend. It'll be a blast. And it's not just for the sake of going on the walking on the beach. You can do that at any time. This really is to meet people, to talk with Pastor Andy and Kelly as well,
Yeah.
and other people who are going to be at that hike, to get out of that row. Because don't get me wrong, like rows are okay. We have rows, like,
Yes.
but the circle part, that's where you're going to find that 2 a.m. friend.
Yes.
Yes. Very, very cool. All right. So then you had 2 books
Yeah.
that you were talking about. One, Practicing the Way by John Mark Comer.
Yep.
and
Brand new.
Brand new. And Celebration of Discipline, which has been around for
Yep. Brand old.
brand old new.
Yeah, that one's been around since
Yeah.
I think early 90s, 80s.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't know
funny.
when it was
The
published
photo
first.
said special anniversary edition. And
Yeah.
I was like, what's a special anniversary? They just don't want to say like 30 years because it sounds too old. They're like special anniversary edition. But yeah, I've read Celebration of Discipline. Absolutely love it.
Yeah.
I haven't read Practicing the Way yet. I'm going to. That's on my short list.
Yeah.
Well,
It's one. I mean, it is. I haven't finished it yet. I'm
okay.
gonna be honest. I'm
Yeah.
in the middle of it, and
Cool.
it's really good.
Yeah.
Super powerful. I think John Mark Comer has a really good way of systematizing great information that's out there and bringing it into a very practical takeaways. And so he's saving you a bunch of reading. He summarizes like 15 different books at least. And so there you go. But it's not, here's a book summary. He's bringing all the information together in a meaningful way. And, but his main goal, I don't know if this is where we want to go, but I'm going to tell you anyway.
Go for it.
It's
Spoiler.
asking the question of how do we be with Jesus, become like Jesus, and then do what Jesus did. And so he is talking a lot about how we want not just for us to talk to Jesus, but for Jesus to be part of us and transform us. And we do that by starting to just be with him. And he asked that really great question of how do we be with Jesus when we can't actually physically follow him the way the disciples could? I mean, it was not an ethereal suggestion to follow him to them. It was, no, literally like put on your sandals and we're walking.
We're going.
We're going. And
Come
now
on.
you're going to watch me. You're going to watch me talk to someone that you don't want to talk to. And you're going to watch me heal someone who you wouldn't touch. And you're going to watch me live out my life and you're going to follow suit. And so.
And you're
it's a
still
good
going to
question.
doubt.
And you're still going to doubt. And you're still going to miss it.
And you're still just going to miss it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You're going to freak out when you're in the storm and I'm literally in the boat with you. Like you think I'm just going to die, right?
Totally. Oh my gosh. That I love that piece of scripture too. I don't know why it reminds me of like a Scooby-Doo moment because I feel like the disciplines
so
are like
true.
ghost. I don't know. That's just every time that piece of scripture is there, it just reminds me of that. And very weird.
Yeah.
All right. That's my brain.
That was the best. What is it called when you pretend to be someone? No. Oh, okay. Skip this part.
There we go. Cut. No, I'm just kidding. Good stuff. All right. So out of Celebration of Discipline.
Yes.
What was a big chunk that you've gotten out of that book?
Oh, it's been a hot minute since I've read it, but it was the first book that I read that helped me to have a grasp on what you do outside of. I had really never been taught in my faith life anything other than, well, when you follow God and you love God, you do these good behaviors and you read your Bible and pray.
Yes.
And so Celebration of the Disciplines was really eye-opening because it's all through the scriptures. I mean, you see people asking Jesus questions about fasting, and you see the importance of tithing and generosity, and you see Jesus celebrating with people. But just to have someone break it down into, hey, here are some of the disciplines that Jesus practiced in his life that we can live out.
Totally.
So I think a big one for me I read it in high school and then again in college was Celebration, because I was a bit of the tradition of like you churches for, deep emotions and
Totally.
thinking deeply and sobriety in that
Yep.
way. And to see that Jesus celebrated was really special. And then,
hmm
and then actually fasting, like I wanted to do that, but I was um, wrestling with that. Am I doing this to because there's unhealthy patterns in young girls' lives that ask them to
Every
fast
person's
and
life.
stuff. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, not to make it just about girls. But
Yeah. Yeah. I just looked it up right now. The special anniversary edition is actually
yes,
40 years.
40 years.
40 years.
Wow.
First time I read this book was actually when I was a worship leader many moons ago, and I was singing lead guitar in high school at my home church
Yeah.
in Burbank, which was really fun.
Yes.
So part of the worship team and all that kind of stuff. And we
Yeah.
started a second service at night. It was wild. I was a junior in high school and doing this so fun.
cool.
And my youth pastor mentor gave me that book and said, "Remember, if God is calling you to lead, your life needs to match."
Yeah. Yep.
And I will never forget those words.
Yep.
It's one of those things that I'm like, oh man, I always need to check myself before I wreck myself. That's
Yeah.
why I constantly am
Yep.
saying sorry. It's why I constantly say thank you. It's why I
Mm.
constantly I like being a learner. I
Yes.
love being a learner. Like
Yes.
I know that I will never obtain all of the information in the whole wide world,
Yeah.
but man, do I love a good like how can I get better at this thing? How
Right.
can I and not to the striving to the point of like total collapse and failure, like woe is me, but like to the point of like, okay, I have another day. I'm alive. I'm breathing. Let's get at it again.
Yes.
Come on.
Yes. Yeah.
So that book was very huge for me because he also gave me my like real first like expensive guitar pedal as well. I still have it, and what he gave me was
Richard Foster did?
No, sorry, no,
Oh.
a mentor.
Oh, yeah.
youth pastor
Okay.
mentor.
Sorry.
He gave me that book. Yeah, I know Richard Foster. No.
I do have a story
sorry, a
about
mentor
him,
who gave me
though.
that and was telling me these things. He also, and I still have it to this day, he gave me a chromatic tuner for my guitar, which is like a $150, $200 tuner for your guitar.
Wow.
Like really, really nice, expensive.
Wow.
And he said this: disciplines are a lot like guitar strings. Always keep them in tune.
Ooh.
And I was like,
I love that.
right?
Yes.
And so I was like, okay, Yoda. And I'm like, Luke Skywalker. Anyway, so one of the things that I was able to do was then I did that same thing we had a bunch of youth bands when I was a youth pastor, and I would do the same thing. It's like he poured
Yep.
that into me, pour that into the next gen.
Yeah.
And we're doing it now with some of our volunteers here,
Yeah.
and just saying like, thank you. Here's the, something,
Right.
kind of a deal. And you just get to cheer people on, and you don't get to necessarily say that to the masses.
Right.
But I know for me, those disciplines are like, they're just stuck in my soul because
Yes.
this is how I experienced church. More
Yes.
importantly, this is how I experienced Jesus.
Yes.
So how can Malibu Pacific Church do that? How can we celebrate disciplines in one another?
Well, first thing is in ourselves, I think we have to ask the question of, is our faith feeling stale? And if it is, I think then or are we, where is my connection with God? And if it's not there, then I think a discipline is a great way to start. And it's really great to start with one you haven't done, like we said. I think to come alongside each other, I think it's just asking that question of, hey, where are your pathways for growth for your faith right now?
Yeah.
And have you ever tried to do any of the disciplines? Have you ever done that? And it's not a matter of, I think we just always have to toe that line of, this isn't a salvation thing.
Yeah.
Right? We don't have to do anything to earn our salvation. And we don't have to do the disciplines, but we're missing out on the fullness of life. And the
Totally.
fullness of life comes when we are in deep relationship with Jesus.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the ways to access deeper relationship with Jesus is to, move away from all the distractions and spend some time with him. And so I think just being really good friends to each other is asking those questions. Oh, it sounds like you're having a hard time. Can you set aside some time to be with Jesus? Can you enjoy him for a little bit? Maybe you just need to celebrate. Like maybe you're trying really hard to earn Jesus's love, and he already gave it to you.
Totally.
And so you need to just rest in that love. And so what does that look like for you?
I agree with that. I think that is a thing that a lot of a lot of people struggle with is but I have to do more. I haven't do I
Mm-hmm.
really deserve this?
Mm-hmm.
I need to call out other people
Yeah.
because that's what Christ would want me to do.
Nope.
Nope. And I think that when we can finally just rest,
Mm-hmm.
and not relax, but just rest
Yes.
in Jesus.
Yeah.
That's the moment you truly do the.
Yes.
I think that's where God wants us to be.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, anything else, Amy?
I mean, our book club read Practicing the Presence of God by Brother Lawrence.
Brother Lawrence.
And his whole thing was
Work in the
he
kitchen.
was just as close. Yeah. He was a dishwasher.
He was.
He was,
One of my favorite books of all time.
Yes. And
Yeah.
his whole thing was in morning prayers, I am just the same connected to God
Mhm.
as I am as I'm washing the dishes.
Yep.
And so how do we just rest in the love of God in the middle of our prayer time, in the middle of our dishwashing time, and everything in between,
Yeah.
in our drive, in our connection with people, in our work, in our daily life, in our homes.
Yeah.
And that's the goal. It's to know the love of Jesus in all things, and then to be the love of Jesus to the people around us. Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
Every fall, again, I'm talking about youth ministry again. Every fall, I got to take junior hires and high schoolers we did a fall retreat. It was like Saturday to Sunday kind of a deal.
Yes.
We'd go get really cool hotel rooms, make it
Yeah.
really cheap, kind of a deal.
Yeah.
And then we would read the practice of the presence of God.
Really?
And
I love that.
deep dive into it. And it was every fall, and people read it again and again and again. And it was
Yeah.
so fun to see a junior hire go. So I'm supposed to be washing dishes to be like, that's how I love God.
Yes.
To then-
all middle schoolers, please wash your family's dishes.
To
Okay.
then a year or two after reading it, or 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and there's that aha moment of, oh,
Yeah.
I get it. I
Yeah.
get why this book's only 60 pages.
Yep.
Incredible.
It's incredible.
It really is. So, hey, if you're looking for a good short read, Practice the Presence of God, phenomenal stuff. If you're looking for the new John Mark Comer book, Practicing the Way, Be with Jesus, Become like Him, do it as he did. And if you're looking for the 40th special anniversary edition of Celebration of Discipline by Richard J. Foster, you can find those wherever you get your books, online or on site at a bookstore. Do they still have? Yeah, there's Barnes and Nobles. I think. I don't know, to be honest.
I don't know if you can find it anywhere, but
Cool. We got our endorsements in. I'm just kidding. With that said, Amy, again, thank you so much for bringing a great word, and really looking forward to the future as well. If you haven't smashed that subscribe button yet to this podcast, please do so that it downloads to your digital device every single week. And if you need, I would say share this with somebody who needs to hear it, or this past week's Sunday sermon. It's really easy. You just click share. And on top of that, it's one text. I know it might be a little nervous. You might be nervous to do it, but hey, you never know what life change could happen. Because I'll tell you what, we were just talking about something right before the podcast that literally that kind of thing happened, and now this person got baptized. So you just never know. So with that said, thank you again for tuning in for Now What Next Steps podcast here at Malibu Pacific Church, and we will see you this Sunday. Bye, everybody.
bye.